when a skater began his career in hockey at the late age of 9, he only started skating in his tween years. Who knew that within 5 years he was going to be at a major Pee Wee hockey tournament representing his home region, and within a little over a decade he'd be challenging for a Stanley Cup with one of the best young teams in NHL history. So when Brad Palmer basically became a sensation with his early career in the NHL, again one of the best rookies in the Stars lineup of the early 80s, we thought it was going to be a long and prestigious career in Major Pro. It didn't work out, although he had a good career internationally in many countries. His fans still remember him as being as one of the, again, most talented players ever to come out of the BCHL towards the WHL, and especially that great Victoria Cougars franchise of the late 70s, early 80s. So today we're going to be talking a little bit about Brad Palmer's career and kind of looking at the fact that all the years ago when he was a lumberjack, did that play a major factor in his conditioning? Now, Brad Palmer first came to this world in Duncan, BC on September 14th, 1961. A solid left winger, 6 feet 185, made Lake Cowichan, BC home for quite some time. He, again, Cologne of the BCHL, he had 20 goals in 78, and his draft year with Victoria, 95 points in 72 games. Now, he used to work as a logger during the off-season of his junior career because we all know BC got some really nice, good timber stands. He eventually was drafted in the 16 overall by the Stars in the 1980 draft. He eventually debuted with Minnesota straight out of the major junior in a contest against Detroit. Now, 168 games in the NHL, 32 goals, 30 assists, and 70 points, but doesn't tell the whole story. He had an assist in his first NHL game, and his extremely hard slap shot, which once broke through the back of the neck during one of the Minnesota's Stanley Cup semifinal games versus Calgary in 81, made him kind of an instant legend. Now, the big line he played on with Minnesota, which allowed him to have a great campaign in their Stanley Cup run in 81, came short against the Islanders. He played with the great Steve Kristoff and the very, very strong leadership of Neil Broughton for most of the 81 postseason. Now, did have a bad injury the next year, but I don't think that really hampered his career too much. What hampered him, I think, is the fact is they were expecting him to produce to the level he produced in the 81 playoffs and the 82 regular season, but again, the big trade kind of took him away from Minnesota and kind of jarred his future career. We're going to get that in a second. Now, with Victoria in 81, he played 44 games, got 87 points in those contests. Got called up to Minnesota, had 8 points in a regular season, but a big 8 goals and 5 assists in 19 playoff games, again, in the Stars' almost Stanley Cup run, losing to the Islanders. Now, his rookie campaign with Minnesota, one of the best in Stars history, 45 points in 72 regular season games with 22 goals. Now, the 83 campaign, there was a lot of talk who was going to play on his line in Minnesota. I remember the Hockey News talking about that. But Minnesota had their eye on another big player. They decided to trade Palmer and the young Dave Donnelly to Boston for a promise that the Bruins would not draft Brian Bellows with its number 1 overall pick in the 82 draft. Now, this was a draft week or draft month deal, was quite a shock. And eventually, he didn't work out in Boston for factors seen and unseen. He only had 6 goals in 73 games, sent down to Hershey in 84, and then from 85 to the early 90s, he found himself all over Europe playing hockey, including in Switzerland, Finland, Austria, and of course Germany for 5 total squads. Now, when Palmer retired, he became a minor hockey coach in the Juan de Fuca minor hockey program in Victoria. Now, a star on the Minnesota team that competed at Sweden's 1980 D&M Cup tournament. He returned again to Victoria and became a hockey instructor as well, working as director of player development and co-owner of the Westcom Hockey School. Now, I don't know if that trade has been publicized enough, but the Brian Bellows situation, we all knew that Minnesota had their eye on it, and I think Boston were feeling that Palmer could be immediate help to the Bruins, but again, it didn't work out. It happens sometimes where a player is very strong in one squad, changes formations, and basically doesn't do enough. So 168 regular season games, 70 points and 32 goals, and in the playoffs, a big 9 goals in 29 games. And he did play a very consistent hockey in the 83 playoff for the Bruins, but again, wasn't a good fit, as we like to say. So as it stands right now, Brad, if I'm not mistaken, he has one of the highest totals for any number one draft pick for the Stars in its history for a rookie campaign, and going usually there's minor league season for a player, but he went straight from the Victoria Cougars to the North Stars, and he probably felt he was ready. But isn't that amazing? He only started skating when he was 9. And within literally a little bit over a decade, he's at a Stanley Cup Final. You can't write this up. I don't know if any other player has come close to that distinction. Because usually hockey players are on skates ages 3, 4, 5, 6, or 7. But 9 years old, I mean, when I was 9 years old, I was almost in middle school. So, I mean, I don't expect to start middle school and end up in the NHL. So that's the story of the great Brad Palmer. If you like what we're doing here, we're on Minnesota North Stars Vintage Podcast. Give us a like, comment, and subscribe. And as we like to say in the North Shore, keep your stick in the ice. Bye.